Hi, my name's Deborah. Today I'd love to share with you all about the amazing Tupperware Modular Mates system. This system of products has made a difference in my daily life all over my house for many, many years, decades even. First, let's talk about the features. And in a little while, I'll talk to you about how to plan and measure, okay? I know that the length of this video might seem a little daunting at first, but if you watch all the way through, you'll be completely ready to customize your spaces to your tastes. First off, Modular Mates are made with liquid and airtight seals to keep your flavor and freshness in your food and to prevent bug damage. They have a clear window on two sides so you can immediately see what's in them and also how much is in them, which is really handy when you're going to the grocery store. Easy to make a grocery shopping list, and also easy if you forget your list, you can call home and anybody can walk into your kitchen cabinet or your pantry and easily tell you how much is left of something that you thought of while you were there, right? They're also really great for organizing and saving space anywhere in your house. We market them for the kitchen, but I will share with you today a lot of different places I have them. So if you do crafts, or if you have a lot of little toys, if you have a lot of little nuts and bolts in your garage, if you have things that you want to keep air and liquid tight in your attic or in your basement, or even in a shed or a boat or in the trunk of your car, Modular Mates are the answer, I promise. Now we'll talk about sizes in a little bit, but one of the things that I wanted to share with you is you can sometimes get different colors of seals. Why would you want to do that? It's beautiful to have them all one color, but if you have somebody in your house that needs special food, for example, maybe you have somebody that needs gluten-free food or dairy-free things, you can mark their food easily just by getting a different kind of seal. Now I've got a collection here of all the common sizes that we regularly have available, but I wanted to show you the inside of our little oddball here, which is our spaghetti dispenser. It has a nice little snap down disc inside there that gives you a single portion or a double portion of your spaghetti. And this is actually straight out of my pantry, so all I do is go in there and I grab that, shake it down a little bit, and I have just the right amount that I want to cook. Easy, easy. Let's talk about sizing and measuring now. Modular Mates are made based on units of size. This one is 1 unit tall and 1 unit wide. It's a super oval. Rectangles and squares are made 2 units wide. And ovals and super ovals are 1 unit wide. For height, Tupperware's made it super easy for us by embossing the height number on the bottom of each container. Rectangles and squares are great for the things you like to scoop to serve. They are 1 to 4 units high. Super ovals and ovals are good for things you like to pour to serve. They are 1 to 5 units high. You can configure your Modular Mates any way that suits your individual needs. When you put your food into a Modular Mate, like if you're using pastas or crackers or cereals or things like that, it's really actually much better to dump the food out of the container. I'll tell you why. Another reminder, these are airtight. So we don't realize in traditional storage of boxes of crackers and cereals and plastic sleeves of saltines and things like that, that those are all put together with glues. And in a second, I'm going to tell you something else, so be ready to be grossed out. But those are all sealed up tight. And when we have airflow all around them, that actually makes our food go stale faster as well, we don't smell that glue. But if you take a cracker box or a plastic sleeve of crackers and seal it up in a Modular Mate, remember it's airtight. So if you have it sitting in there for a long time and you open it up, you're going to smell that glue. And the other thing that you might smell is pesticide smells. You might not know the difference, but in the United States, you know, we have lots and lots of people, so we have lots and lots of food storage warehouses, and guess who else likes them? The mice, the rats, the birds, and the bugs, right? So food in food warehouses is sprayed with pesticides, and that travels from the food distribution center into the truck, into the grocery store, and then into your home. So something that we don't all think about is we have all these boxes and bags that have been sprayed with that pesticide. We don't really wash those boxes when we bring them home, do we? And unlike when we are preparing to cook raw food, we wash our hands, we make sure everything's nice and clean, right? We don't really think about that when we pick up a box of crackers, right? But it's cardboard. The pesticide will soak into it, and it's going to be there for you to touch every time. So please, when you put your food in a Modular Mate, open the bag or box up, dump your food in, trust your air and liquid tight seal. It will work for you. So let's talk about the bugs. We've all experienced them, yes? Sometimes they come in from outside like ants. Sometimes they come home from the grocery store in your food. A lot of people will think, oh my gosh, I've got bugs in my cabinets. You don't have bugs in your cabinets. You brought them to your cabinets, or in the case of the ants and maybe some spiders and scorpions in the south, they walked into your house. The nice thing about having your food in Modular Mates is all of those bugs that walk into your house cannot get at your food, because again, these are liquid and airtight, so the insects are not going to smell your food to begin with, and they can't get in. When you come home from the grocery store, sometimes you might have a bag of flour or sugar or something that's got little larvae in it, right? And sometimes you don't know that, so sometimes you're using that flour and you get an icky little surprise, right? Modular Mates are going to help you with that as well, because again, it's airtight. So if you bring home a bag of flour from the grocery store that happen to get larvae in it, or boll weevils or something, when you dump your flour in here and seal it up, it's airtight, so all those bugs are going to suffocate and come to the top. So although yes, it's super gross, when you open up your Modular Mate, you're going to see all those dead bugs on the top, but what you're not going to do is accidentally put them in a recipe or accidentally eat them. So that's another benefit of Modular Mates that's really, really nice. Plus, those little hungry critters tend to climb through cabinets and pantries, don't they? And it's so much better to just have to throw away a 10-pound bag of flour than to have to throw away everything in your cabinet or pantry because the bugs ate all the way through all of it. Okay, now let's talk about how to plan your space. First off, you want to know the depth of where you're going to put your Modular Mates. Our super ovals and our rectangles are made for a typical kitchen or RV or boat cabinet of today. So that's something really to think about. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you why in a kitchen cabinet. Now I'm lucky enough to have a pantry in my kitchen, so I've cleared out some of our tumblers to do this demo for you. So as you can see here, the rectangle is hitting the back of the cabinet and comes all the way to the front, but allows the door to close quite nicely. So you want to make sure when you're planning that you know the depth of the shelf or wherever cubby or whatever you're going to put your Modular Mate on, because the last thing you want to do is play dominoes with them. You want them to go from front to the back and from bottom to top, so that when you open your cabinet door or walk into your pantry or look in your cubbies, you're going to be able to see at a glance everything that you have, find what you need, and if you're making a grocery list, don't forget, you've got this nice clear window in the front so you can see how much you need at a glance as well, which is awesome. Now from bottom to top, you want to measure how many units tall your storage space is. Or you want to decide how many units tall you want to make it if you have adjustable shelves. This particular space is a 4-unit high space. So this is a rectangle 1, and then on top of that I'm putting a rectangle 2, and then I have just enough space for another 1 unit high. So this is a super oval, but I could put 2 of them there, couldn't I? Because remember, rectangles are 2 units wide, and you can stack these any way you want. If you have a Modular Mate that is too short for the depth of your cabinet, like our ovals and our squares, you may end up putting things in front of it. Like let's say, you know, you've got your, maybe you've got pasta in that, and then you've got boxes of macaroni and cheese that you know you're going to use pretty quickly, or maybe bags of leftover chocolate chips or things. When you put things one in front of the other, it becomes annoying because you've got to domino things around. So that's why it's important to make sure you are going from front to back on your storage space so that all of your food is right there in front of you in full view when you open your cabinet or when you walk into your pantry. So by the way, I highly, highly recommend you put brown sugar in it. Now, this is not my brown sugar that we use in our house. I'm going to give you a little secret about this brown sugar. This brown sugar is from my demo kit from when I go out and do in-person demos with people. And you can see, whoops, I'm about to drop it. You can see, if I can get a grip on it, you can see how soft that, you can just hear. Now those big chunks you see going by are the chunks that came out of the bag when I dumped it in here 6 years ago. This brown sugar is 6 years old, and I don't have to take a sledgehammer to it. Now, just so you know, we don't actually use this. It really has been in here for 6 years because it is just for my demos, and I allow people to feel the brown sugar, so we would never eat that one. Okay, so there's all kinds of beautiful stock pictures I can share with you on perfect pantries and beautiful shelves and things like that. But the thing is that perfect is not always real life, right? So I love to share my pantry because it's a very tiny little awkward shaped pantry in between our kitchen. Here's the kitchen door jamb, and through that door is my laundry room. So we had this actually built during a remodel, and you can see it's very, very tiny. So if you look up there on the top shelf, you can see those are 6 units wide because those are rectangles. So that's how narrow this room is. But look at how much the Modular Mates allow me to fit in this little tiny pantry. Isn't that amazing? So I like to do my things by zones too. That's another tip that we love to share for organizations. So I have up on the top there, I have all my baking things. This middle area is kind of our snack row, if you will. And then the bottom is our breads and cereals here. And because this is this tight little L shape, I do have some ovals and a couple of squares back in the back corner there. And what I do with that is I just put things back in there that I hardly ever use, because then I don't really mind digging for them. But everything, excuse me, everything out here that we regularly use is nice and visible. It's only one container deep, and then however many high we need. So we can just walk in here and at a glance we can see all of our food. We can find whatever we're looking for. Now here's a little something that I forgot to say when we were out in the counter too. You can also get pour-all seals for these that have this little pop-up pour spout. So I have those on some of mine, and it clicks down, so it is also liquid and airtight. And then I'm jumping around here a little bit, but that up on the top there, that is kind of my miscellaneous shelf. So those are the things that the Modular Mates that I use for things that I don't buy all the time. So those can be changed around, and sometimes we have little bits of things left over that I put in there. Then, as I said, this is a very awkward little shaped pantry. So if I turn around, here's the other end of the pantry. So you can see it's like this little pointy, wedgy shape, and we've got these little tiny shelves here. So over here, I still have some more super oval to collect. You can see these are my coffee beans. Oh my gosh, keeps your coffee so fresh and aromatic, you guys. If you're doing your own grounds, or if you're buying whole beans and grinding them, you really want to put your coffee in a Modular Mate, because that fold down foil bag, every time you open that, it's just letting more and more air in, and there's no way it's as airtight as a Modular Mate to keep that coffee or tea nice and fresh for you. So I have my coffee on the end. This is kind of my greens shelf. Up here I have some miscellaneous things, and way up here at the top I have some really old, they're kind of like Modular Mate pictures, but I'm going to show them to you because I want to show you something else that's really neat about Modular Mates. And I'm pretty short, but if you can reach the bottom of your Modular Mate like that, you can have your food go way higher than you can actually reach if you had to grab the top of or the middle of the box, which is really nice. And of course, with that nice seal, they're not going to spill, even if you drop them on the floor because you didn't grab it tight enough. Maybe or maybe not that's happened before. If you want to watch for these smaller sizes, they come on special sales sometimes. So these are my teas, staying nice and fresh, my tea leaves, and some sweeteners and other teas and things. And then over here is kind of my seasoning center, if you will. I've got some rounds there, and then I really want to share these with you because they are so handy. These are my seasonings that I buy a ton of at Costco. So I've got my taco, my cinnamon, my Lowry seasoning salt. These are roasted sesame seeds, and you can see how easily I can see exactly what I need. This is another favorite seasoning in our house that we buy a lot of and use for a lot of things. But for those seasonings that you don't need a lot of, you want the seasoned shakers. We have tall ones, and by the way, this is closet made, so these shelves, you guys, you can make your own spice rack and they fit perfectly. So we have the talls in our catalog all the time, and then right now during our special sale that's happening right when I'm filming this, we have our smalls, which are half the height of a tall. Now, don't worry if you're watching this video and we don't have the small ones available. Just let me know that you want it and I will let you know when they're available. Okay? So the neat thing about these, there's lots of neat things actually. See if I can do this with one hand. One end of it has a nice shaker on it. And what's better about our shaker than the bottle you buy at the store? Our shaker has these little nubs right here. So if you're shaking this over the stove, which I do a lot with garlic when I'm cooking, garlic powder, you know how it gets steamy and it kind of gets all stuck on the top here. They made it with these nubs so that when you close it and you snap that shut, you're cleaning out your holes, so you're never going to have clogged holes. Awesome, awesome. And then on the other end, see if I can do this with one hand. On the other end, we have a spoon scoop, and it's got a nice leveler right there, so you can level your spoons off when you're measuring. Also, liquid and airtight. Also, these, because they're airtight, will keep your seasonings fresh way, way longer than your grocery store little glass or plastic bottle. Because ours are airtight, your seasonings are going to stay fresh way, way longer. Our seasoned shakers are rated to keep your seasonings fresh for 5 years. And did you know, if you're using a glass or plastic screw top bottle, like what we buy them in from the grocery store, and they come with that nice little seal, so they're airtight when we buy them, but as soon as we take that seal off and you're screwing this cap on and off, they are no longer airtight because air can get around those little, what are they called, tines, I guess. So you can see I have some more seasoned shaker collecting to do myself, which I have some more on order so I can keep all of my seasonings totally fresh and very tasty. They're going to give you a lot more flavor in your food, so you're going to be able to use less, which costs less. And if you have our seasoned shakers, you can literally go to Bulk Foods and for pennies on the dollar, you can fill these up compared to spending anywhere from what, probably about $4 to $8 on a bottle of seasoning from the grocery store. Now I'll show you some other places that I personally use Modular Mates. This is my puppy treat shelf in the laundry room, because don't forget, our pets deserve perfectly fresh food as well. Okay, this one's a little bit noisy, but out here in my freezer, I actually use Modular Mates simply for space efficiency of things that we buy that are like those salmon fillets that are shrink wrapped, and we go through those pretty quick, so I don't need to put those in a freezer mate. But I like having my freezer more organized and being able to access these things really easily just by pulling that out like a drawer. You can see I can just grab that, pull it right out. I want my cauliflower rice, I want some salmon, or I want some chicken. I just love using them in this manner. So you just want to be really careful that you don't drop them on the floor, because you can crack them when they're frozen. They're not rated for the freezer, but I do use them for freezer organization. In my bathroom cabinet, I use them also purely for organization. They're so great for keeping all those little bits nice and neat and easily accessible. I keep my Christmas sock collection nice and neat in a Modular Mate as well. This is my thing. I love my holiday socks, and I have a whole advent calendar full of them, so my Modular Mate keeps them nice and neat and tidy during the year when I'm not using them. And by the way, this is another type of Modular Mate seal. They're not available very often. This particular seal is not liquid or airtight. It's just a snap up and down, which is nice for non-food items like this. Here in my office, I also use Modular Mates to keep all the various little bits and pieces of things that are small, and I want to keep them neat as well. And here you can also see some special colored ones. So when you're a Tupperware lady, sometimes you get things that nobody else can get. And you can also get those as a personal shopper, by the way, when you open your own Tupperware account. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this very, very complete tutorial on our Modular Mate system. The thing that I want to leave you with is you don't have to figure it all out by yourself. I am here to help you, and I love helping people with custom design. So if you feel like you want some help with measuring and planning, I am your girl. I would love to get together with you either on video or even by pictures or in person if you're close enough. And I can help you plan out how you want to use Modular Mates to suit your own lifestyle. Thanks for joining me today.